Howdy folks, my name is Lance090 and welcome back to Let's Play Kerbal Space Program. So by the time this video comes out, there's a sale going on for Kerbal Space Program right now. For one thing, it's free to play today, because it'll be Sunday when this comes out. And it's the last day of the free to play, and it's also 75% off to buy. I don't know how long that's going to last specifically. Hopefully it'll last a little longer. But I figured it was a good time to give Kerbal Space Program another good look here. Obviously, the news came out that Kerbal Space Program 2 is coming out, and that's going to be fun. But I've never actually played really deep into Kerbal Space Program. I played a fair bit, but I never really got deep into it. And I would love to do that. The problem I've always had with Kerbal Space Program is there's a lot of mods that you kind of have to make it fully fun, and every time it updates, they all go out of date, and then it doesn't work. And even now, the game's version 1.9 now, and it's been like that for a couple months, but the mods are still not up to date, so we can't really play on that version. Not without having not nearly as much fun. So this is what we gotta do. We gotta play it on 1.8 here. Hopefully when Kerbal Space Program 2 comes out, it's gonna have some of these things that I have for mods for as part of the default game. Start a new game here. Oh, I don't think I have my custom flag uploaded. I'll fix that in a second here. Okay, we are back. I got the flag put in. There it is, light fire flag. We will do career mode, but let's look at the options here, just make sure nothing's messed up. Let's see, missing crews, I do not want them to respawn. Reverting flights and quick loading is always one of those do we do it or do we not do it? Because weird things can happen where you're going to want quick loading. I don't want it to save scum necessarily, and by turning it off, it'd prevent me from doing it. But at the same time, there's times where the time acceleration goes too fast and you can't stop it quick enough, and then you just crash into something, and it wasn't really your fault. You couldn't stop it. No entry purchase on that. Whether Alchites is fine. I don't know if we will use them, but keep them around. Let's see. I want reputation penalties to be worse. So if we fail to do missions, this has a bigger impact on us. Decline penalty 1. I suppose that's fine. Experience, yes, please. Turn on all the part limits. These can be pretty scary as well. Require signal for control and plasma blackout, but we'll go ahead and go for it. And a lot of these other ones are for mods. I don't think we really want to mess with these. They usually tend to be pretty complicated to mess with those at all. This will be the Light Fire Space Administration. So how far do I plan to get with this game? Well, I'd love to go as far as we can, of course, but I have noticed it's been a little bit unstable, even with running the older version, just to make sure the mods work. So, thinking tentatively, the main thing I would like to get done is put a man on lathe, and then maybe bring them back. I don't know if we're going to get that far, though, before the game starts becoming too unstable to play. But we'll see what we can do. Alright. Need to grab our first missions here. Make sure my audio cable is correct. Got the scientific data from Kerbin. Easy enough. Launch our first vessel. Easy enough. Can only have 2 right now. We can get both of those done in one go. This isn't going to be a tutorial video before. I've done that before. And also, it's been so long since I've played, I imagine I'm going to be pretty bad here at the start. So we'll just knock out these 2 missions first. Go to the vehicle assembly building. Alright, we'll just start us with the Mark 1 command pod here. I thought about trying a mod that makes it so it's unmanned flight before manned flight, but The last time I tried to do it, it didn't really work. So we're actually not going to launch this one at all. We're just going to collect science off the launch pad. That should complete our task and also be much safer. Thought we had more science parts than this to start with, but that's okay. If anything, I may... Well, we can use Bob for this. Normally you'd use Jebediah, but since we're not actually launching, we can just use Bob and get some extra science points. It's not very much at the start of the game. And we don't need to name this or anything, let's just launch it. So a lot of the mods we have are things that make it more realistic, like life support and more deadly re-entry, things like that, some more science tools. That's weird. That shouldn't be caused by one of our mods. Our mods are... I don't like this. That's what I'm talking about. It's like, the game's just never been... Considering it's almost at 2.0 status now, it's not quite been perfectly bug-free. And I'm sure it's partly because we're using mods, but again, not using the mods kind of makes things not fun. You can have fun, don't get me wrong, but not quite what we're looking for. I have a crew report as well, and I think that's pretty much all we can get, other than maybe running Bob like way far away to get some different science data. I don't know why that's happening. That's a new one. I haven't seen that one. Maybe once we get a new launch pad and it doesn't have the scarring mark on here, it'll be a little bit better. That's okay. Recover the vessel. Our FPS crashes, by the way, when we're on loading screens. It's fine when we're in game, but loading screens gets a little bad. Alright, you got the first surface EVA ribbon. Got our scientific data that automatically give us the points for that, I suppose. Seems like it. You just have to like click off on it. I guess you don't have to anymore. Alright, I will grab Escape Atmosphere. It's a little bit of a tall order right now. I think if you wait too long for those starting missions, they'll go away, and then you just missed out on a bunch of XP that you could have gotten. So, now we have a tiny bit of science. Should be enough to get us a couple more science parts here. Magnetometer can't use until we're in space, I don't think, but we can use the thermometer. Get a bit more science. Now we can be a little bit creative. I like to grab as much science as I can from our start location before we actually go into space. And what I might do is once we get everything from our start location using these methods, I may try to put on that other mod that makes you start with unmanned spacecraft. Because then we'll have a little bit more of a base for it to work from. Because I think that was like one of the big problems of why I didn't want to use that particular mod in the past. Is you couldn't walk around the launch pad and pick up a bunch of science. Now, this is not perfectly safe. Man, I keep kind of click and drag. I wonder if it's always... It was always never click and drag, it was just click and place, or if I'm just so out of practice that I forgot. Okay. So this bizarre looking thing is just so we can roll around. There we go. Unfortunately, the starting landing track is like really messed up and like bumpy and stuff, which is kind of silly because the rest of the terrain is perfectly flat. So it's actually like the landing pad, the landing strip here is actually worse than the terrain around it. All right, give me some mystery goo for this location. I think even with Jebediah or Bob here, he might not be high enough level yet. Grab an EVA report from the runway. I was gonna say, with Bob here, he can collect the data, render this module inoperable. Firing functionality requires scientist. So, can I restore you? Media restored, goo module is operational again. Okay, cool. And then I want to put Bob back in, EVA him again. We should be able to actually run this twice. Observe mystery goo, because there's a little bit more science than just the one go. We'll just reset that again. Oh, you know what? I don't think he collected the data there. Try that again. Experiment. Show me that again. Store. Pop back in. Crew report. Alright, now the part that's just a little bit scary. We have to roll off this platform without dying horribly. Have to remember our controls here. Vehicles in Kerbal Space Program are very fragile. Well, actually, these are actually not that bad. Ooh. The capsules are fairly durable compared to some other parts. But it's still just a little bit risky. Oh, we should grab this too. That one we don't have to run multiple times, so we can just leave it for now. Obviously this thing's not the easiest thing to roll because it's not a perfect cylinder. But pull this off, we won't have to launch like totally useless spacecraft. That probably won't even make it to space, to be honest with you, at the start here. You can go straight into something a little bit beefier. Okay. We're just gonna backwards to stop the sliding from getting too fast. Main thing we have to worry about is hitting this base here. Could cause a strong enough impact to blow us up. We're okay. Also slowly going through our batteries by doing this. Actually, it's not that bad. I think it used to be like way worse trying to do this. Or at least these used to have less batteries in them. Okay. Yeah, report. Oh, it still says from runway. We're gonna have to go a little bit further. They might have made it so you have to go further as a purposeful block. I think that's like a little bit too fast. Just as a block on purpose to keep you from doing exactly this thing. Let's try. Eventually we'll get rovers and everything, and then this will be totally pointless, but... Okay. Let's get that piece facing up, and EVA again. What do we got? Kerbal Shores. Alright, there we go. Take all data and store all their experiments. Let's see, observe the mystery goo. Experiment. This time we're not going to go any further than this because that'd be a little crazy. So I'll just grab both mystery goo and not take the data this time. We'll just keep both experiments. Hop back in. Get crew report from the Kerbal Shores. And we'll recover the vessel. "27 science in one go." Or 22 science in one go. And we didn't even have to leave home. You got a science achievement for that. That's one of the mods we have installed, so we get little ribbons for our characters as they complete tasks, which is pretty cool. So now, we can grab like pretty much everything we want. Survivability, basic rocketry. I think survivability is what we want for some better parachutes, and there's also barometer. This is more science. Now we're cooking. Still no wheels or anything, so we can't build a better rolling thing. We'd have to get aviation here. Basically, you make a plane without wings, and then you can just kind of skirt all over the base. So now is probably a decent time to launch. Although we have to decide, are we going to go get this mod? That makes it so we do space probes first? Because that's always appealed to me, because that's how the real space race started, with probes and stuff, before we got to people. Might be able to roll off the launch pad. Well, that would probably... We'd have to get onto this for a little bit more science, I think. Oops. The cursor is not locked to the screen in this game. It's so hard for me to get used to here. I'm trying to remember how we flip it. There we go. I'm actually going to take that off and just do it a little bit, so it's not quite as messed up. Also have the barometer now. Also the oceanography and bathyrometry. You have to get into the ocean to do that one, though. In case you're wondering if these little parts would break off, they are considered like massless, so they don't actually break off even though they impact stuff. At least they used to. It might be different now. It says it has mass, but it actually doesn't. Right, give me Bob again. And then... need to flip the whole thing. I might try to crank up the sound effects a little bit. I crank them down because in the menu, the main menu music's like absurdly loud. There's also just like no music in-game until you get like to space and then it starts playing music. Yeah. A little unfortunate. Is this still... yeah, it's still glitching out. Okay. I have a feeling that's not because of one of the mods, though. I feel like that might be base game problem. Because I don't think I have any mods that have changed the texture of the launch pad. I have ones that have like added like clouds. I mean, that's pretty much it. It just makes the planets look a little bit nicer from further away. Hopefully it'll go away once we upgrade the launch pad. This thing is hard to control. You have to press roll controls to roll it. But then it easily bounces off of its track. And then you have to maneuver it back and forth. But the back and forth controls are kind of like inverted of what you would want them to be. If we could just build up like a ton of momentum, that would be great. And make it a lot easier, but then we'd probably just blow up at some point. Also have to watch down here. I think if this this meter fills up with a green bar, our Kerbal dies from G-forces. What have we got here? Still on the launch pad. We'll still grab that data because we haven't done that experiment on the launch pad. Did we do the thermometer on the launch pad? Don't think so. Grab those. We'll have to have Bob here climb out and get that data. I think if we get to this, we'll be onto the new spot. Damn thing, though. Go, brother. There we go. Getting mounted on that thing gave us some speed. Okay, surely we're in a new spot now. This will be our only... Yep, crawler way. Okay, this will be the only place we go, so we don't have to get this data pulled out. Let's see, you're gonna do a crew report. Gonna EVA, yeah. Get an EVA report. Need to take the data out of this and take the data out of this. Get back on board. Run this again. This again. And we're good. It's such a silly thing to do, but it's free real estate, you know? 20 science. It's free real estate. Now we could get stability or general rocketry. Not quite get flight control or anything. Give me general rocketry. I think we're gonna need that to get to space here. Okay, well, I don't know what's gonna happen if I install that mod at this point. But I am really tempted. I don't want to like lose all the science that we just got, so I guess I'll save it, copy the save file, and then we'll see. Well, that's all the time we have for this video, though. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, remember the like button, keep the conversation going in the comments, and subscribe if you want to see more. Remember to hit the notification bell if you want to get notifications on your phone. Until next time, I hope you have a good day.